Hello, and welcome back to the Ambassadors of Gaming. I'm one in your collection, army, however you wish to perceive us, of hosts, Michael. And today we're going to be doing the first of our interview series where we kind of get in depth and really want to get down with the nitty and gritty on who each of us are. So today I have Jason. How you doing, man?
What's up, guys? I'm doing well.
Good. So with the interview thing, this actually kind of spawned from a video I did a while back. The first Patreon video I ever did was like my favorite childhood games. Because I was like, you know what, like some of the games I liked as a kid were really obscure, and then Adam had the idea to do type of interview stuff and put it up on like the Patreon or whatever, and I was like, you know what, would it just be good to just have it out there for everybody? Because me and Billy were actually having a conversation earlier too about how like we're very, very, I think, different from most of the other groups. Not to like plug super hard or whatever, but I just think that there's a lot within us as just people and personality and just what we like and what we don't like and just how different we all are from each other, that it allows people to kind of find somebody they may disagree with or agree with.
Yeah, there's quite a few of us, and we definitely do like different things.
Completely, because when we were talking earlier, you were telling me about trying out Valorant, and like that's not my type of game. I don't really like playing on PC much either, if I'm honest. But I know when we've had conversations in the past, you kind of like those, and you also, from what we were talking about previously, was that you're into more multiplayer centric stuff, right? Or at least recently.
Yeah, currently in my current life that I'm living, my current period of life, in this current chapter of my life, I should say, I am very competitive with my gaming and my choice in games. So I'm playing a lot of competitive games, whether it's on PC, mobile, or console. Try to focus on those, but I do still love my story-driven games from time to time.
There's nothing really wrong with that. When Chris and I first kind of started playing games together, because we've been friends before that, but I had been out of games for a while. When we started playing games together, he really was only into like Call of Duty and Minecraft, more of the bigger name games, multiplayer games and stuff like that. He's kind of branched out from there. He still kind of sticks with like Destiny and stuff like that. So to each their own, if that's what you like, and that's where you hang out with your people, or you just enjoy yourself.
Definitely. I do miss Destiny, man. That's such a great game that had so many issues, but it's still such a great game.
I'd agree with that. I think Destiny really, really was this generation's like foundational game. Like so many people tried to just copy the basis of what Destiny was, both as as the genre and as like a FPS.
Yep, definitely.
And I think they really kind of nailed. I haven't played Destiny in a very long time. The last time I played Destiny was when Destiny 2 launched, so I haven't played anything since.
Same here. I played through Destiny 2 when Destiny 2 launched. Oh, I just bought a PS4 Pro again because the group of guys I was gonna play with,
right,
we're playing on PlayStation, and the PC version wasn't coming out for a bit, which was annoying.
Right.
And there was no crossplay. So this is when Irma came, the hurricane, and
right.
I went up to Orlando for the hurricane and didn't lose power. I played like night and day on that game. Like it was just ridiculous. I put so much time into it. I think I had like 3 characters fully maxed out and geared out. In the week and a half to 2 weeks that I was off of work because of the hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
And then like no one could play because everyone else I was going to play with had no power.
Right.
So I was alone.
Yeah. It's lonely at the top.
Yeah, and then I didn't really like the raid, the initial raid that came out. It was nothing compared to Vault of Glass. And even now, I'm seeing like posts that they're bringing Vault of Glass back to Destiny 2. I'm not surprised. It's an amazing raid.
Yeah, that's one of the better ones. I like that one a lot, and I did like the Crota one.
Yeah, that was good too. Like I liked almost all of the Destiny 1 raids. I can't speak much of Destiny 2 because, like I said, I only went through that first set of raid that they had. I wasn't a fan of it, and then I stopped playing. So I don't know if the raids picked up any better or not. But I really did enjoy almost all the raids in Destiny 1. They were great. And I'm glad they're bringing them back because they were wonderful raids.
Yeah, I think Destiny, the way it was structured, wasn't horribly done. It's just that it was the first time they had ever tried to do something kind of like that, the MMO light type deal. Um, and I don't think between Bungie and Activision, they just didn't really, handle the DLC rollout the way most people would anticipate it to be. Because people are used to WoW. WoW has an expansion every year, every other year, something like that, depending on how big it is.
No, the WoW expansion is, I think, every 2 to 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Still,
that makes more sense.
And I've been playing WoW. Actually, I got back in the WoW. Oh my god,
they're pretty big though, right? Like they're pretty equivalent to almost a full game, I assume. Because the last time I played WoW was with the Panda one, I think, whenever that came out years ago.
Yeah, they have a ton of content. When the expansion comes out, there's quite a bit to do. You gotta level up, you gotta gear out and whatnot. You got all the dungeons, and then there's different difficulties of the dungeons. Right. And then you're introduced to the first set of raids. The first set of raids is usually about 3 raids that they have gated, and then since they have like 2 to 3 year lifespans on the expansion, more content introduced with patches. Be like patch 5.1 is introducing a new raid content and like 2 new dungeons and this new area to explore and quest, and then they'll go through like 3 content patches before the next expansion comes out.
So they do quite a bit. It's not just like, all right, we dropped this, good enough.
Oh no, they definitely do a lot afterwards. Like after the expansion's dropped and you pay for it, because remember you're paying monthly for the service
subscription,
and part of that monthly fee is getting these extra content patches that you don't have to pay for, that just come with the expansion. And like I said, those content patches, they come with a new raid or 2 new raids, and then like 3 or 4 new dungeons, as well as like a new zone in the new area to further the story and continue questing and whatnot.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, it seems like Blizzard seems to be, well, now it's starting to seem touched by Activision, but before, until within the last couple of years, probably say 2 to 3 years, they've been pretty much just the same consistency wise. Given the Diablo 3 debacle was its own thing.
I was actually having this conversation with a buddy of mine earlier. Actually, I feel like I have this conversation with him every month. Blizzard used to be known as like this amazing game company,
right?
That would they would never release garbage. Like if they weren't proud of it, they'll scrap it before it went out. Right. And they just been, and they're always with their fans. They always back their fans, and it's just like not like that anymore. No. The last 2 years, they really changed on their morals, and it shows. Right. A lot of their games aren't doing well. WoW's still doing well, and Hearthstone's all right. Hearthstone was doing better than it is now. But they're definitely changing. And right now, I feel like the company that's taking that spotlight is actually Riot. Like Riot is releasing really good products. Their card game's amazing. Their first-person shooter, tactical shooting game is amazing. They listen to their fans, to the players, and make adjustments according to that. I mean, no company's perfect, but it definitely feels like, right now Riot is leading in terms of, being a really good company, a solid company.
Yeah, I mean, if we're just talking about games and we're removing everything else, I think that's a fair point to make, because that's really just what we're focusing on right now.
And it's sad because Blizzard was like one of the best.
Yeah, undeniably. And I don't know, maybe it's the creeping that's what we hear, is that it's the creeping Activision factor. But I kind of want to delve, I guess, more into the WoW side. So like when did you start playing WoW, I guess? Like the first time.
Yeah. Before I answer that, I was going to say, I do give it to them. Like, they are still the only game that's full, subscription base. Like 100%. Like, you can play like the first 20 levels of a character for free, but that's not like Final Fantasy 14. Is it 14?
Yeah, 14 is the newest MMO, yeah.
That game you can play all the way through for free, roughly. You just limited, backspace and character space and whatnot.
But you have to buy the base game, right? Or it's not free to play, right?
Well, I think you have to buy. Yeah, you buy the base game, but there's no subscription.
Right. That's, I just want to make sure we make the distinction. You
can get the subscription, which will add, like more backspace, this, that, and the other. Little incentives here and there. But WoW is still the only MMO right now to have a subscription to play, and it's still doing well. I mean, like,
Right.
it doesn't look like it's going to have any free to play. You know,
Like mechanics, like
yeah,
the box card packs, stuff like that.
yeah. So it like, what is it now? Oh God, how long has it been?
I'm not sure.
15, 16 years. It's crazy.
Yeah, WoW's been around for a really long time because it was Warcraft before that, right? It was a more tactical game.
Yeah, well, they had World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft was an RPG. No. Real RTS, real time strategy.
Yeah.
I had my acronyms messed up.
No, you're fine.
And it was a very different game. And World of Warcraft just takes the history of that game, you know, like the lore of that game, and turns it into an MMO. And it's and they did a great job. Like, they're getting better as time goes on. I mean, like, they had their hiccups here and there, but it's really good right now. Like I said, I got back into it a couple of months ago, and I've been loving it. But yeah, it came out 2004.
Sounds about right.
And I started playing around 2005, about a year after it came out. And I played from 2005 to probably about 2015, about 10 years straight of hardcore rating. And then I took a break because I went back to school to finish up my degree. And then I also had like a newborn at the time.
That's reasonable. Don't really have time.
Well, I mean, it wasn't even like my first kid. That was my third kid.
Yeah, well, I think that makes it even more justifiable at that point.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I took a bit of a break, and then I would come back every, like, when the new expansion would come out. I would come back for a couple of months, but I wouldn't get sucked in. But when I just came back recently, I was playing quite a bit, like, getting like, and I know it's the tail end of the newest of the latest expansion, and the newest one comes out, you know, November, December, as always.
Yeah.
But it was just so much fun. I had a lot of fun completing raids again. It was a lot of fun. And now with the level squish they're going to be doing with this new expansion, taking the level cap from 120 down back to 60, being the max level, it's it makes it easier. I don't want to say easier, but it makes it less of a, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Is it like a grind or what?
Not really. I mean, like, it is faster to level up when they do this level squish. It is going to be faster, but it makes it makes it seem less. God, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Like, I want to say scary,
Sure.
but it's not scary for, like, new players.
Like, when you come in and, like, the level cap's like 120 or something, you're level 1, you're like, Jesus, I'm never gonna catch up.
Yeah, if I'm like, Mike, come play some WoW with me. He's like, oh, I never played. I was like, don't worry. The level cap's only 120.
Right. And I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, no, that'll only take an eternity.
But yeah, so they're doing good things in WoW.
Well,
I'm happy to be back.
I kind of want to touch a little bit more on the WoW thing, only because it triggered a memory that I had, because I had friends that got into WoW not early on, not as soon as 2004, because I was in 4th grade around that time, 5th grade. So my friends and I weren't playing like that high level games yet. But I remember in like 2007-ish, I had a friend that played WoW, and follow me because the train of thought is weird. But I remember him showing me WoW, and I was like, oh wow, this is like no pun intended, but like this is really cool. And you know, blah, blah, he was showing me, and I was like, yeah, this is really great. Like, what would it, you know, if I had a computer or whatever, what would I need to do? And he's like, yeah, you'd have to buy the discs. And then he showed me the discs, and at the time, a pretty good handful of expansions came out, and this is when they were still doing discs. So
yeah,
he had like literally 6 discs for WoW.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my god. And I was like, how long did it take you to download these? He's like, yeah, like a day. And I was like, a whole day? It took you a whole day to play a game? That's horrible. And then he told me about the subscription, and I was like, wait, so I have to buy the game and then I got to pay every month to have the game? And he's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, there's no way my parents are doing that. And I was like, I grew up middle class, right? So like, it wasn't like I was poor or anything, but I knew for a fact my parents were gonna be like, $15 a month, that's a lot of money. Like,
yeah,
whatever it was. I think it was like 10 or something at the time. I don't think it was that much, but
no, it's been 15.
That sounds about right. So I remember having that, and it just triggered that memory. And I'm looking at my computer now, and I'm like, man, I'm so glad we're past that point, because like I downloaded WoW a little while ago because I had a friend that said the same thing. He's like, oh, why don't you try it and get into it? And I was like, all right, well, I'll try it again, because I do that thing where like I play a game and it's not really for me, and I'll try it again if somebody like really wants to try it. I recently played ESO again with Adam. And he was like, yeah, I'm not really feeling this. And I'm like, I mean, fair enough. It's basically just not as good as Skyrim. It's fun to play with your friends. But anyways, I digress. With the disc thing and download, I remember being like, I downloaded WoW in like 2 hours. Like all of WoW in 2 hours. Versus like back in the day, a whole day to download 6 freaking discs. You know,
it was a lot, man. Like even with the disc, after you installed it with the disc, you still had patches to download, because those patches were content that were released after the base game was out. Right. So like when I got into it, I was in like my freshman year of freshman or sophomore year of high school, and I've been working for a bit already. You know, like not making much, but enough to afford the subscription.
Yeah.
And I remember I was so excited because I kept watching G4. Oh God, I miss G4. I was watching G4 and they were reviewing World of Warcraft, which is hilarious because how do you review an MMO?
Right.
On XPlay, and I was like, man, that looks really cool. I was like, I've always wanted to like try like EverQuest and everything, but I was too young to get into that because you know, like subscription.
Right. Exactly.
So I was like, let me try this out, and I downloaded, I bought everything, installed everything, and then I thought I was ready to play. It was like 10 o'clock at night.
Sure.
I had a fairly decent gaming computer, and we had DSL. But that's took
a big
all
deal
night
for anybody who doesn't know at the time.
In 2005, DSL and a gaming computer is a big deal.
Yeah, if you had DSL, you were living the high life when it came to PC gaming, because
by like gaming computer
terrible. Yeah, and gaming computers too, because
it's not like
$1,000 shitty printer basically is what it was at that point.
It's not like gaming computers nowadays. It wasn't like no RBGs or none of that. Like it looked like a regular computer. It just happened to have a graphics card in it.
Yeah, basically they were that nice cream color that turned darker and darker as it goes on.
Yeah, it was some HP computer I had, and it just happened to have a graphics card in it, so it was great. And so then I had to download the patches, and that took all night, man. I remember waking up at like 3 a.m. I set an alarm, got up, it was finally done, and this was a school night.
Right.
So I would get up at like 5:30 to go to school. Right. So I get up at 3 a.m. I log in, I make my first character, and I just play like crazy until I had to go to school. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, I shouldn't even go to school today. I should just stay home.
That was always the best as a kid too. That feeling.
And that started my increase in absences through my high school career.
I think that's fair for a lot of people at that time too. Because between that and Diablo, right?
Yes. Yeah. Diablo was amazing.
I remember Diablo for some, maybe it's because of the like cultural stuff in America, but I remember it being more not impactful, but like World of Warcraft was like, it kind of flew under the radar of the like game scare at the time, versus Diablo, which was obviously like front facing demon. Everybody being like, oh no, the children.
World of Warcraft didn't really go under the radar. It had a lot of publicity.
Yeah.
During the launch and the first few months after, and it was mostly positive. It was like because it was the biggest game that come out at the time, right. And it was mostly about how people just weren't going to work or going to school because they were playing World of Warcraft.
Right. Versus like this game is evil or something.
Diablo, it kind of brought back the Mortal Kombat of the 90s,
right?
Where they're like, "Oh, Mortal Kombat's such a terrible game for kids."
The children, yeah.
Let's have an ESRB rating system now, which is good, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't hate the ESRB. I actually had an interesting idea regarding that for maybe a video or something, but I don't want to discuss it too much here. But yeah, the ESRB's foundation, I think, is kind of important for
it is
games, because especially with kids. Like I understand I kind of sympathize with the children, think of the children argument, because like when you pick up a movie, right, and you look at the movie, like usually get a pretty good idea, like this is probably appropriate or not for children, even without a rating, right?
Yeah.
Games, it could do that, but like I don't know. Let's talk about God of War, for example. Like the first God of War, without the ESRB rating, you would never know that like it opens with a threesome. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, I know.
Like,
but at the same time, where we're at now, I feel like the ESRB rating system is kind of dead because
I would agree with that.
No one at Walmart's stopping anyone from really buying a game. Like, they're not going to sell GTA to like a 10-year-old,
right? But they're not.
But if they see
if you're 16, 15, something like that.
Yeah, but then, the parent getting it for the kid.
Right.
The Walmart associate doesn't know. They're not gonna be like, oh, this. Like, I would say in a rare case, the Walmart associate would be like, I don't think this game is appropriate for your kid because of the rating.
Right.
Very rare chance. At GameStop, it's gonna happen a lot more because that's what.
They specialize.
They're knowledgeable.
Sure.
But nowadays, with everything just being digital downloads, and you're just like, Mom, I need Xbox points and this, that, and the other. They're just downloading whatever they want.
Yeah. Nobody knows unless they're actually buying it for their kid or whatever. Yeah.
Unless the parent has parental controls on the console, which I highly doubt.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like the ESRB rating right now is kind of like meaningless because kids are playing whatever they want to play because there's really not someone to inform the parents of what their child's about to either purchase online and download, or they're going to Walmart and Target and no one really cares.
Right. I think I would agree with that. I want to kind of hit on the parental controlled children buying ESRB, all that kind of stuff in a more singular topic, because you have kids, and we've discussed this before. I specifically asked you about it because the only people on our team really that have kids are you, Jordan, and Daryl. And I don't have children, but I figure I would probably follow a similar line of thinking as to you guys, where obviously I'd have parental controls on, and I'd be like, I'd make sure that if I was going to buy them something, I actually knew what I was buying them first. Because my parents bought me games, I'll admit, were probably inappropriate at the time. I played God of War at like 12. And
yeah.
I mean, at that point you have an understanding of like whatever. You get the birds and the bees talk before that, so you're starting to go through puberty anyway, so you kind of understand all that stuff, right? And at that point you're just like, ooh, boobies. Like that's what a 12-year-old boy is thinking. You know what I mean?
I think my GTA like version of the game that I played as a kid was Conker's Bad Fur Day on N64.
I remember Conker, yeah.
Man, when I got that game, and I'm just like, this game curses. There's like sunflower boobs. Yep. I can pee in the bathroom on people. Like, this is my game.
Yeah, so it was a very, very targeted toward. It's funny because like I'm sure it appealed to like 18-year-old, 20-year-old men as well, but really like the people who find that stuff really that funny are teenage boys, 12 to like 14. Maybe 11-year-olds. I think it's probably a little too much for some.
I wasn't 12 though. I was probably 9 when I played that game.
Like, that at that point, I would say probably it's inappropriate. But obviously, you have to consider your child. Like if it's different, if your child has a grasp of things, then I think probably it's ultimately up to you. But with like my brother was autistic, for example. So like I wouldn't buy him that game at 9 years old. Because then you'd just think it's socially acceptable to like pee on people or whatever,
Yeah.
So,
yep.
So it's you have to take it with a grain of salt. So I guess because I think the last time we talked about it, the last game I recall talking with you that you bought for your kids was Animal Crossing. Is there anything?
Yeah.
I guess what would be the limit too far for like your oldest child at this point? What do you feel like?
They're 12 now, and we've had the conversation about sex,
of course,
and everything. And they're 12 at this point. Like they can play pretty much anything. Not that they're going to want to. Like they can play Grand Theft Auto. Do they want to play Grand Theft Auto? No.
Right.
But yeah, like for me, as far as censorship with my children, it's more social media. Like
yeah, that I understand. 100%.
Like they bug the hell out of me for things about social media, and they're just not going to get it.
Yeah, I think it's weird because like as teenagers and then young adults, you like social media. I understand that it's fun, but like now that I'm like in my mid-20s, I'm like I fucking hate this. Like
it's very toxic. It creates. I feel like a lot of the mental issues we have in America stems from it.
Yeah, because we kind of put people in these echo chambers.
Yeah, whether it's cyberbullying or like people just don't understand that, you know,
This
not
isn't
everyone lives
real
the
life.
same. Yeah, like not everyone lives the same lifestyle, or like people can very easily fake their lifestyle
Right.
on social media. You just don't grasp that. So it's very toxic for, you know, kids that their minds are still developing. I feel like
Right.
social media is far more toxic than any video game could ever be.
I would agree with that.
Period. So as far as them, like I said, they can really play anything. Now my son, who's turning 7 next month, he's been asking for like Roblox, and I just like, no, you're not playing that.
What is Roblox? Because I guess
Oh,
I'm
you
too
don't?
old
Oh, I
for
guess you
this.
wouldn't know.
Yeah, I don't have
'Cause
kids,
you're not-
so I don't really know.
You
what's
don't
hot
work
right
with
now.
kids. You don't.
No.
You don't have kids.
I've heard of Roblox, but I don't know anything further than the name. I assume
The
it's
concept is like really amazing. It's like, hey, here's a game where it's like an open sandbox, and you can make other games in it.
okay.
And here's a social hub where you can hang out with your friends. It's kind of like PS Home. Remember PS Home? PlayStation
Yeah.
Home?
I was
Where
thinking
they- like,
something like Disney Infinity. Is it like that?
No, it's like PS
It's more
Home
like
where
a social game versus creating, or what? I'm
It's
sorry, I'm
both.
not really following.
Okay, do you remember PS Home on PlayStation 3?
Kind of. I remember when it launched, but I didn't use it much because
Okay.
I got rid of my
Actually,
PS3.
what's that new game that just came out on PlayStation? Dream.
Dreams, yeah.
It's like Dreams, but like
Oh, okay.
really crappy graphics.
Okay.
Where it's like N64 graphics, and you can make your own stuff. Like you can make your own levels, and people can play them.
Okay.
And then there's also little areas where you can hang out with your friends on servers and whatnot.
Sure.
But my problem with that is like there's no like it's really unfiltered. Like there's been sexual predators on there.
Yeah, I figured
There's
that's where
been
this was going.
cyberbullying on there. I don't know if there's like a ban system, like a report system. I don't know if there is or not.
Sure.
But it's very Wild West.
Is it
It's
like
like
a
the
Club Penguin situation?
I never played Club Penguin, but
it sounds
did-
similar. Where it was like, okay, we have to either control this community a shit ton or just shut it down. Is what it ended up happening with them because they're doing the same things.
they're not going to shut it down.
Yeah, no,
'Cause
probably
kids-
making too much money.
Yeah, they're making way too much money, and it's really not really monitored
Right.
by many people. But yeah, I'm like, no, like I understand how the kids play it, but you're not going to because you don't have the mental capacity to, you know,
Distinguish
Ignore
somebody who's doing
comments.
harm to you.
yeah, ignore like, you know, obvious really bad comments being made to you or whatnot. Or
Yeah.
you're, you know, like not fall for the what's your address kind of thing because
Yeah,
you're 7.
Yeah, 7-year-olds don't have that good of a grasp on reality usually.
So like with him, like he's not gonna be playing that, and I wouldn't let him play, you know, like Call of Duty and Battlefield and GTA
Yeah,
and
that
all that.
seems
But
reasonable.
he does play Fortnite though because I just turn off his mic so he can't talk, and then he just plays, you know.
Yeah, I think that's probably fine.
So he can't hear anyone talking. It's very cartoony gun violence, so I don't mind. I mean, I grew up
Right.
on that stuff. But yeah, so like as far as like parental controls on the console itself, I don't really deal with that. Like if my kid, you know, is done with their work and, you know, finish their chores, they can play video games as much as they want. Because that's what I did when I was a kid. I played, you know, if I wanted to play all day and I had nothing else going on, I played all day.
Yeah, and ultimately it gives them some semblance of choice and decision making in their life if they want to go out and play with their friends or they want to stay at home or whatever. But I guess with the parental controls, the one major one we see is obviously time, which, you know, I think that's ultimately your discretion. And then the other is purchases, which I think is vastly underused.
Yes, definitely.
That's just my opinion, because like we see these stories of these kids spending, you know, thousands of dollars, and I'm like, that wouldn't happen if you just like took 10 minutes out of your day. Every single platform, as far as I know, I haven't seen it on Xbox, but I'm sure they have it, that has the parental control. This is how you set up parental controls, like just in general, on purchases, on game time, on what ratings they can play. Because I remember even the PS3 having something like that.
Yeah, it went back. I believe it started at like Xbox 360, PS3 is when they started doing that, because the original Xbox and PS2, there was no real like store to buy things. I remember playing on the original Xbox, and to get DLC for like Halo, it was a bit tedious. I can't remember the process, but it wasn't very easy to do.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
But when you got it, and that was really the only thing that really had DLC, was just that.
Right.
Like
there were
Halo
a
started
handful,
that.
I think, of like indie games, but not anywhere near the extent that the 360 had.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I think yeah, with the parental controls, they're vastly important and definitely underused. I'm trying to think if there's anything else regarding that. So I guess with the habits, because we that's one of the things we see now too, that people I think outside of our community really discuss is like um people who play games in a way that's destructive to their life. And what I mean is like they skirt their responsibilities to play games. I don't think that's the majority of us.
It's not the majority of us, but there's definitely, we can't ignore it. It does happen
Right.
in many places, not even just America. I mean, it was really prominent in like in Asian countries
Right.
where
Right.
kids were like obsessed with games and playing like absurd amounts of hours, not going to school. Sometimes not even eating. Like it
Right.
was
It
it was
bad.
up there.
Because
Yeah.
I think specifically in China, the problem was is that they had outlawed it for so long that when it finally
Yeah.
came back, it was just like you had two generations of people that were getting
Yep.
back into it. Because I know the last time we discussed it, I think it's like 5 hours on a school, 5 hours a day or something like that. I think, which is a lot, honestly, for a school
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Like here, that would be like 4 to 9 p.m., which by the time most kids are going to sleep at 9, 10 o'clock, So
Yeah.
that's like all day after. I mean, I'm not saying it's reasonable. I don't think necessarily the government should have to tell you to do that. But, if you as a parent are like, 5 hours is like, I would have killed for 5 hours of game time as a kid, Like,
Yeah,
my
I
parents
think
were like, only 5 hours. I'd be like, 5 hours is great. I don't know. That's fine.
I think I only got that like on the weekends. Not that my game time was controlled, but like after school, I went to a friend's house because my mom wasn't home, so we just
Sure.
hung out there, and we mostly played outside. So when I got home, it was like 6 o'clock,
Right.
and you'd have dinner. So I'd probably be free by like 7:30, and I might get like 2 hours of gaming in before
Right.
I went to sleep. So like most of my gaming went, on the weekends.
Right, and that's how I think most kids do it. Because I remember playing games the most then, and that's because my parents would want to, do stuff around the house or whatever, or they'd be working,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think with the timing, I don't really think that's typically a problem as much as people are making it out to be. I think it's something to worry about, but I think that ultimately is something where you need to dive deeper into it. Because if somebody's playing games to the extent that they're skirting their responsibilities, it's almost like the same way you use drugs. You're
Yep.
trying to skirt your reality at that point.
I mean-
maybe there's something deeper to it than that.
In reality, that comes down to just addiction. Period. Like you
Right.
can do that with anything. You can do that with social media. You can do that with
Right.
books. Like you're just so obsessed with reading stories that or comic books that you're like, oh, I should do my homework. Nope, I'm gonna read these next 3 or
Right.
4 comics.
And we see it with TV too. I think TV's probably
Yeah.
if I'm honest, probably the biggest one.
With Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus and everything. And I always find it funny, like a lot of, I'm just gonna say women because it's usually women, will complain that their significant other is like, oh, I'll spend like all day just sitting there like
Watching
playing
TV.
Call of Duty
Or
or
playing
Halo
games,
or
yeah.
whatever. And I'm like, you're sitting there watching, like house shows that are flipped or whatever they're called, and like cooking shows and
makeover
like
shows or the
Kardashians for
makeovers,
like 7 hours. So like, what's the difference?
yeah. I think that's a weird disconnect in generation and sometimes in between excuse me, genders, with because like my wife doesn't really get it either. She's like, I can only really play games for like 3 hours and then I'm kind of just bored. And I'm like, I can understand that. It's really ultimately up to like each person. And sometimes I will just play games because I got nothing better to do and I don't even really want to play games. Like
I'm in that boat sometimes.
I feel like I've hit the weird age of old where like there was a day, like it was this week because I just wanted to play The Last of Us all week. I was waiting for it to come out last night and there was nothing I wanted to play. So I just literally would turn on my PlayStation, scroll through everything and sit there for probably like 40 minutes. And I'm just like, yeah, I got nothing. And then I just turn it off and I try to find something on Netflix.
Oh my god, that is me, like all the time. Like especially now with the summer, like whenever I have like, because when school starts, I'm very busy, so I have
Of
like
course.
I want to play games, but like I don't get to play as much as I want. And now I like I wake up, work out, and then I come to the computer and I'm like looking through. Okay, like I got like looking through Blizzard. No, I don't want to play any of that. Looking through my
Right.
Steam account. No, I don't want to play any of that. Looking at my Riot games. No. Looking at like all my Switch games. Like
Right.
And there's quite this like out of my I probably beat like 2% of my Switch library. I have like over 100 Switch games, and I've beaten maybe 2% of it.
Fair enough.
And I'm just like, no, like, cause it's funny because I buy all these RPGs on my Switch. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a great game, and then I just don't find time to play. I was like, this would be a great game to play when the power is out or something, and I can't play like my competitive games. I can just come play this. No, that never happens.
Real quick on the power thing, for those who aren't aware, you live in Southwest Florida. I live more in the middle of Florida, Central Florida. But Florida has terrible power lines. Like, for no reason, sometimes the power just goes out, even if it's not like storming or whatever. Like, it really depends on where you live in Florida. For some reason, like the lines are terrible. So like I know to like pretty much everywhere else that I've been or where people I know have lived, that's not really a problem. Like your power just doesn't randomly go out. Sometimes it does, but not anywhere near the consistency of like what happens in Florida. Like in my first apartment here, it went out I think 6 or 7 times. Like,
yeah, it went out this morning for no reason, not even raining. Like I got up, I worked out, and then I went to the bathroom, and the light went out. I was like, okay.
Okay, yeah, sure, why not? It's just a very Floridian thing you just get used to. I don't know if that's the same in Miami. I'd have to ask Kevin, I guess, because he would let me know. But it's a very weird Floridian thing. So, but anyways, the Switch. Real quick on the Switch, because we discussed this a bit, because there's a conversation I want you and Chris to have. So I don't want to hit on it too much. But I finally found World of Final Fantasy. And I've been buying Switch cartridges because I got my wife one for I think her birthday last year, and so I'm buying the cartridges so she can play games if she so chooses. Have you played? I think we've discussed this. Have you played World of Final Fantasy? Is that anything you're interested in?
I bought it. With a gift card because I got a gift card for the eShop that one of my students got me, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like really nice of them. And then I bought it. And I played it, and I played maybe like an hour, maybe less. And I was like, this is really weird.
It is. It's definitely weird. The way I described it when I played it originally was that it's more like it's Final Fantasy's version of Pokemon is what they're essentially trying to do.
And Kevin said it was really good, so I want to get back into it. I want to try it again.
It's really good. It has that depth that you usually see in Final Fantasy, but I think they simplify it a lot. If you want there to be these crazy combos and stuff, you can do that. But if you just want to be like, I like these 3 things because they're cute or whatever, and they're on my team, and you want to play it like Pokemon, typically you can pretty much get through it unless you have like a huge weakness or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was weird because when it comes to Switch, you and Chris, I think, would be the resident experts on it. But typically we don't see shortages of Switch physical cartridges. But for some reason, that game is super hard to find. You cannot find new copies of it.
It depends on the game, to be honest with you, man.
Really? This is the first I'd seen of it, where it was like I cannot find this game for cheaper than. I finally found it for cheaper than $60. I found it for like $46. But Switch games don't get cheap. Like they just don't.
No, they don't get cheap because they're so expensive to make.
Right.
Which is why sometimes you'll be paying like $10 more, to get a game on Switch than and it's an old game, not a new game. Right. And like on the Xbox, it's like $10. Right. You're paying like 20 for it.
Well, World of Final Fantasy, for example, is 20 on PlayStation and Xbox, and the cheapest I found it was 45. Typically, you find it at 60.
I paid it for like 50. I paid $50, and I got it freaking through eShop, dude.
Yeah, just digital.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you got it. Like, whenever that conversation's brought up about like, oh, it's a port of a game you're paying more for, I was like, yeah, they had to work to do that, man. Like, it wasn't just like they took the game and said, hit the 4 switch button and boom, it was done.
Yeah, like, they were like Control C, Control V. All right.
Yeah, like, at sometimes the ports look better, like depending on how old the game is, and then sometimes they have to see, like, especially when it's a port of a newer game, they don't have to import it. I mean, they're not going to do a 2K thing with WWE.
Right. It'd just be like
2K18.
Well, here's last year's version, even though for no reason. Here you go.
And run like crap. Like, so they have to take their time. They have to experiment with, with everything to make sure it runs well. And I don't mind paying for that because I'm getting it for a new console. I get to bring it anywhere I want. Like, I call it like the Switch tax. Like, it's fine. I get to bring it whenever I want. Like, if I want to play on the toilet, I can play on the toilet. Like, it's far easier to bring your Switch and games than anything else right now.
I definitely agree with that because the best case scenario, you have to buy one of those bulky freaking like suitcase looking things.
Those game cases, those things are cool, bro.
They're cool. Don't get me wrong, they're cool.
But they're heavy. They're heavy.
But they're built so that you can put the system in it and there's a monitor in it. And like
yeah,
I was thinking about getting one.
Cool.
They're cool.
I thought about getting one for years, but they are heavy. And then either way, you still need a power source.
Usually, yeah.
You gotta find an outlet.
Sometimes I think I've seen a handful that like have batteries. I could be wrong about that. Don't quote me on that. That might be total bullshit. But I swear we've gotten to the point where they're like, all right, yeah, we put a big ass battery in this thing. But yeah, the cases are really cool.
They could, but
it'd be like $500 then for 20 inch monitor.
Yeah, it'd be far more expensive, and then I don't think you'd be able to take it like on an airplane. Because if you think about it,
yeah, I don't think so.
When it comes to portable batteries, right now, and I already know this because I bought one. Right now, the MacBook Pro 16-inch like has the maximum battery you can have on a flight.
Airplane. Yeah.
Not that I travel on airplanes. I'm just saying there are people that do.
Yeah.
And that's like battery lasts a long time, 11 hours. But like if you're talking about like gaming now, like that's gonna deplete pretty easy.
Yeah, it's gonna kill it pretty fast. Especially on Mac OS. Mac OS does not run games very well in my experience, but
I don't mind. Like I just got it like a month ago. I love the thing. I haven't had a MacBook in since 2010.
Yeah,
so
I prefer Mac OS if I'm honest. But that's just me.
But I run World of Warcraft on it, and it runs perfectly fine, even with my add-ons. That's the only one I have installed on Mac OS, and then I have my Windows installed on these. Oh my god, Samsung makes these amazing solid-state drives.
Yeah.
The T5, the SSD, portable SSD T5 drive, which is a terabyte. And it's like a smaller than a business card, and maybe like
they're cool.
As thick as like a iPod Mini, which I guess that's dating my life right now. I don't know.
I don't know if people even know about the iPods anymore.
It's the thickness of an iPhone 11 Pro. Boom.
That's still really thin.
But it's really small. And I have my entire Windows on here. Like I legitimately just did boot camp onto here.
Right.
And I have Windows on here, and the only reason I have it is to put more games.
Of course. Of course.
So, and I play like Valorant on it and everything else, and everything runs fine. Although it's really weird, and this is an issue with running boot camp on a external drive. I don't want to redo it because it's gonna take forever, and I can care less. But I have no audio, so. Yeah. So the audio won't work. I have to use like Bluetooth headphones or like a line in to like get audio, which is fine because I'm going to do that anyway. But when I run Windows from the external solid state, I have no audio through the Mac speakers. And I don't want to fix it because then I have to redo boot camp and everything, and I just don't want to do that.
Yeah, no. Getting boot camp to run is a total pain in the ass. In my experience, because I tried it for a while because I wanted to get some better. I wanted to run Premiere on Windows versus running it on Mac OS because Adobe's lazy as hell with their ports. I don't know.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it's
but why
really
don't you
bad.
just use like Final Cut?
Because I don't like the way Final Cut it works. Actually, so I guess I'll put it this way. So the way I always describe Premiere versus Final Cut is, Final Cut is like. Or Premiere is like those squared Lego boards where you just put wherever you want down on it. It's like supposed to like simulate grass. That's what Premiere's like. So anything sticks to pretty much anywhere. Final Cut is more like a tree. You have to have a central basis and you can't screw with it. If you screw with it, everything else falls off the tree. So that's why I don't really. Yeah, at least that was my experience when I had it. I don't know if it's still that way because I haven't used Final Cut in like a year or two at this point. So they might have updated it. But my main problem was that it had this like weird basis where you couldn't screw with anything. Like even if you were like, all right, I have this one big long clip, I'm going to screw with it. And you tried to chop it up into multiple pieces, it would just like not really work. So you can't use it in the same way you use Premiere basically. And that was why I moved away from it, which sucks because it's really good. It's actually a pretty good competitor to Premiere. It's just not how I learned how to edit, and I basically have to relearn how to edit and shoot. So I don't use it personally. But let me see if there's anything. So we talked about childhood gaming. We talked a little bit about habits, and we talked about taste. And we're coming up on like 45 minutes. Do you feel like we missed anything you would like the people to know?
About me?
Yeah, about you. The whole thing's about you, so I would hope so.
I mean, like, I'm I guess a rare gamer because I like almost anything besides sports games.
Right.
Like, I'm an advocate for mobile gaming, and I get so much like,
which makes
I
you
feel
very
like,
different from the rest of us.
yeah, like
Yes.
I guess you like the pitchforks and the fire coming and everything.
Right.
But it's like people don't understand. Like, I'm not talking about like Candy Crush and like those games are fine. Like those are like, you know, like old people games. But I'm talking about like actual like gaming. Like there's like, I'm not talking about these idle gamers or like these pay to win games, but there's
Right.
legitimately like real games like PUBG Mobile,
Right.
Mobile Legends, Wild Rift, which is League Mobile, that have like actual esports behind it that they play
Right.
for, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's not pay to win at all. It's, you got to have skill,
Right.
and like people don't understand it. They're like, a lot of the gamers in the gaming community, they're like, oh, mobile gaming, like that's a joke. Da, da, da. Like, it's not. Like, I guarantee you, if there's a room full of people with phones, 99% of them will have some kind of game on their phone.
Exactly.
It's like people underestimate the power of cell phones. Like, these cell phones are supercomputers in your pocket.
Yeah, they really
And there's
are.
no, like, I can understand you not liking like the touchscreen format or whatnot, but like, don't like hate on mobile gaming. Like, there's huge, like when they these esports arenas for like PUBG Mobile and Mobile Legends, like they're huge. They're just as big as regular esports, and the prize money is just as large. And the pro players, they play just as hard. Like they train just as much as anyone else.
Right.
It's not pay to win. Yes, there are pay to win games. You know,
Of
there
course.
are those monster collector games that you pay to like summon, and you know, like a very popular one, Summoner Wars, that is pay to win. Like, you can go free to play, but you're going to be put behind time gates and having to collect things that's going to take a lot longer than just paying $100 and getting a bunch of summons.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a whole different boat. Like that's just a whole different boat.
I think
But
it has a PR problem. It's really,
Yeah.
people view mobile games the same way they do like Activision and EA. But
Yeah.
it's not like those are the only types of companies on there. Those just happen to be the ones that have the most amount of crap, because it's easy to just churn out these things. That they're
Yep.
like crappy pay to win. Like, here's just whatever the timers, the microtransactions.
Exactly.
Versus like,
I mean,
like
even
the games you're talking about, they are full experiences that are just mobile.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, and then there are like Clash Royale has an esports. You know, they have an esports arena. They play for a lot of money. Dragon Ball Legends, they also have an esports.
Yes, I've heard of that one.
But both of those games are great games, but they also are, like, it's hard to explain. Like, if you have money and you throw money at the game, you're gonna get,
yeah, you're
things
gonna get better
faster.
stuff. Yeah,
you're gonna get things faster than the free to play person. But then you have games like PUBG Mobile and Mobile Legends and Wild Rift, where you throw as much money as you want, you're not getting anything more than what everyone else already has. But it's skill based. Like, you're paying for skins on those games, and they don't mean anything. And at the end of the day, they don't mean anything.
I know you were big into COD Mobile for a minute, and I haven't played.
Oh,
it in
I
a
forgot
long
about
time.
that one.
Yeah, I specifically want to bring that one up because I haven't played it in so long, and you're more into that than I am. So has it devolved into the usual Call of Duty now, where there's like loot boxes with guns and stuff that you can buy?
Yes and no. So with Call of Duty Mobile, a lot of the way they make the money is through skins.
Of course.
And that's fine. That's a perfectly good model to have to make money.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
There were a few times, not many, like 1 or 2 times, that they released a gun, because not all the guns are available, but they released it only with the skin. And the only way to get the skin was through either a loot box or a lucky draw.
Yeah, because I remember hearing about the Halloween event. That was the last time I had heard about something like that. Where it was like you had to like get all of the loot boxes for the Halloween event, and the last one was the crate, or the last one was likely the gun, but you had to like buy the last 3 crates or something.
So
it was like
it's called a lucky draw, and with that, because they have 2 things. They have the crates, which is you get a random item out of it that's listed, and then they have like a lucky draw. A lucky draw is like, here's 10 things in here, and we're gonna start it at 10 COD points. So at 10 COD points, it's like a roulette. It goes and they pick. Obviously, it's gonna pick the least rare item.
Right.
But then the COD points double. Now it's 20. Now it's 40. Now it's 80. Now it's 100
160,
and whatever, 160.
Sure.
So then you're hitting it, and then when you get to like the last 3 items that are in there, which maybe you might only want one, which is the gun skin or the player skin.
Right.
You're at like $40 for a button press. Like you got to spend like $40 worth of COD points to spin the roulette.
Right.
And that's like at the end of the day, to like get everything, it was almost like $200.
Yeah, that I recall. It was very Apex Legends like. They got the same kind of blowback, and that's what it was getting compared to.
And that's the reason why I stopped playing Apex. And that's the reason why I stopped playing COD Mobile, because I like skins. I like supporting developers, but I don't want to spend $200 on a skin. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I don't think so. I want to word this carefully because I don't want to hear about it from people. Fortnite is not the like creator of this, or even like the first to popularize it, but they're the first to hit monumental success with it, I think.
But Fortnite doesn't do that though.
They just sell the skins.
They just have time skins. It's like, here's 5 things, and you have 12 hours to buy it.
Right.
So you know what you're gonna get, and you know what you have to spend to get it.
Exactly.
But when it comes to like COD Mobile, it's like, here's a crate, because they also do the crate ones. Here's a crate. Here's like 50 items in there, and like the one thing you actually want, and then you don't have no idea where you're gonna get that. Like you can get it on the first one.
And the percentage is like 0.001 or something.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And I've seen YouTubers that create the content for that game. They'll drop upwards of $400.
Yeah,
before they get that. It's crazy.
It's insane.
And I feel like that's not fair at all. Like
it seems very greedy.
So, as far as COD Mobile, it's not pay to win, but they had 2 instances where the best gun was tied behind a skin.
Right.
And the skinless version of that gun was not released to the general public yet. I wouldn't say the general public, the free public
users, everybody else.
And then in order to get that gun, you had to drop over almost $100.
That's really insane.
They got a lot of heat from that, and they don't do that anymore. But it did happen.
Yeah, that seems to be Activision's MO. They kind of push the envelope a little bit. They're like, all right, time to test the waters. And then they usually get blowback, and they're like, well, we're not sorry, but we won't do it again.
It is a good game. Like, don't get me wrong, like Call of Duty Mobile.
COD Mobile is really good.
It's COD on the go. It's great. Like, it's a fun game. And aside from that little hiccup that they had, and I mean, if you don't care about skins, then you're not gonna, feel bad about the lucky draws and the crates and everything. They do give you a lot of free stuff. Like, you get free skins.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of stuff is free, but I mean, it's not gonna look as good as the paid stuff.
Of course, it never is. And I don't think I have a problem with that with free to play games. I mean, honestly, I would rather pay like $10, $20 for like COD Mobile and just like, all right, like, we're gonna give you a season pass every fucking time or whatever.
They have a season pass, and like I said. And that's what I always say. Like, you don't have to spend $100, on these lucky draws or whatever. Of course, just get the season pass. It's $10 or $5, whatever it's going to be, and that's guaranteed items that you're going to get as long as you play. And I always like the battle pass. Like,
yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I think that's
like the battle pass is good, and I also like what Fortnite does. Like, where they have like, here's a set of skins for like 12 hours or 24 hours, whatever.
Right.
Those two. I want to call them, like, I guess, marketing tools or whatever.
Yeah.
They're far better than crates and lucky draws.
They also make more money, generally speaking.
Yeah, like, and think about it. Like, they have nothing to lose. Like, okay, you pay $10 for a battle pass. Now it's up to you to get to the end.
Right.
Like, you got to play the game to get everything you want, or pay more money because you didn't want to put the time in.
Right, and I think on this point, you have to kind of put the caveat as well that it's not an unreasonable amount of time. Like, at least for somebody who plays that game frequently. And if you're not playing the game frequently, it's not worth your while to buy.
Yeah, you shouldn't be buying it, because at that point, you're just buying skins just because you think it looks cool and then you're not playing the game. So
right, exactly.
Why are you even wasting your money?
Exactly. And I think the one of the big things that's the differentiator in Fortnite is that their battle pass is always designed to give you more currency than you pay for it. So usually you have left over.
You get a little over 100 or 150 extra Fortnite bucks
total, and the pass is like 950. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So 1,500. So you get like almost 600 more, and then if you don't spend that, you can get the next battle pass for free.
Right.
And then still have V-Bucks left over.
Right.
And use that if you want.
Or you can just stack it, and then eventually you'll have enough to buy that $20 skin or whatever,
Yeah, yep.
And
And
if you
most
want to
battle
just
passes,
buy it.
most of these battle passes do work like that, where you get your money back, if not more, in their
Right.
currency, so you can get the next one for free, which no one does because everyone spends it.
Yeah, that happened to me actually this time around with the new season of Fortnite. And it's because we hadn't played in a very long time, and also the season was really long.
It was.
And I ended up getting the pass for free because I just had stuff left over, and I was like, oh, cool, because I was about to just drop $10 on this. So
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, Fortnite, it's a fun game. I dabble in it every so often. I get back
Right.
on, and like really the only thing that stops me from playing Fortnite religiously is the building. Like if they had no building in that game, that would be my go-to game all the time.
yeah, my issue is that I'm not very good at the building.
Yeah,
Honestly.
same here.
It's weird because I guess we can touch on it real quick, and we're coming up on an hour, so I think we probably start wrapping up. With Fortnite's building is that there's a distinction between keyboard and mouse, and then there's a distinction between consoles, except they merged, or between console and PC. So like typically when you play on console, it's not really an issue, but obviously with Fortnite, it's evolved into that COD level mainstream where a lot of people are playing it to the point where, you know, you see the Fortnite like red dot site ads, you know, on Facebook and stuff like that.
Yep.
So I'm sure that a lot of people that are playing are using either modded controllers, or, you know, now we live in an age back before, you know, when COD was huge, like MW2 days, let's specifically say that, right? That's when you would start hearing about like modded controllers and like red dot sites on the TV and stuff.
Yeah.
But the internet wasn't where it is now, where it's so prolific with this stuff, where like if you wanted to go on and find like Fortnite hacks or whatever, like it's really easy. Back in the day, it used to be way harder to do stuff like that. And getting a modded controller is kind of easier now. It's way cheaper than it used to be. Like they were like $200-$300. Now they're like $180, I think, if you really wanted to get like a modded controller. But yeah, I don't know really. The building is weird because I swear I play with people that cheat, because there's no way in hell, like I've tested like the sensitivity settings, like people build in ways that are just like astronomical. It's possible that I'm just suck and like people are way better than me. And I don't think I'm very good at that game, if I'm honest. I think I'm okay at it. But yeah, the building is crazy in that game sometimes, especially on console. Like it's way faster than you would think.
It is fast. I've gotten good at building fast, but I just use the freaking ramp and I just make a bunch of ramps.
Yeah.
Like all around. I surround myself with ramps. It's a terrible strategy, but I've won a couple fights with it. So I'm not in any way a good builder.
Sure.
And like I said, if it didn't have that, my gunplay is really good on it. Like if it didn't have that, and that's what makes me mad. Like I'd lose because I lost a building fight. I'm like, I don't want to do
Yeah,
that.
a lot of the times it comes down to that, trying to outmaneuver your opponent.
Which is why I loved Apex. And then
Right.
Apex used to have a terrible
Business
loot
model,
system because I like loot.
Right.
And, you know, and then I'm over here like, I'm spending way too much money in Apex. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I do not like this. So that's the reason why I stopped. And don't get me wrong, I loved Apex. When that game dropped, and that game, like, I was all over it, man. it was great.
Right. I was really hoping it could replace Call of Duty in my friend circle and with you guys, but then it just didn't. Like, not enough people like got into it and liked it, which is weird. Like, Chris didn't really like it because he doesn't really like battle royales, but he really liked Titanfall. So I thought maybe we could find some common ground there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just didn't click. I think it's still hugely popular, don't get me wrong, but like within our group specifically, it didn't click, I think, with everybody in one way or another. I liked it, but at the end of the day, I just didn't have. And there's no crossplay. They're fine. I think they just announced it yesterday.
Yes. Yeah.
At the time we're recording this, EA.
They announced it for this. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, they just did their EA Play. I don't know when this is going out, so I guess we're dating it a bit. But yeah, it just came out yesterday. They're doing crossplay, so that was one of the big issues for us because everybody wanted to play it on different things, and for some reason, Respawn couldn't figure out cross progression and like keeping your shit on all consoles or on all systems.
Yep.
So, and apparently that's never happening. So I don't know.
So yeah, they announced it for the Switch, which is great because awesome. And then they also announced the cross-platform, cross-server thingy.
Yeah, the crossplay, I think, is what it is.
Crossplay. There we go.
Yeah, yeah. which is good.
I swear.
I hope that's a staple next gen.
I really do. Like, it's so annoying when you want to play a game and they're like, "Oh, I have this and I have that." It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, I'd rather just, like, come on, let's just let me buy the game where I want it and let me just play it with my friends.
Exactly.
I know that
That's
sounds
all.
like a child. Like, it's very like entitled. Don't get me wrong. Like, I understand the perspective. Like, but
No, it shouldn't, because it's not like one company's making it for Xbox and one company's making it for PlayStation and one company's
Sure.
making it's one company making it for all of them.
Right.
So it's not like it's that difficult.
right, and it does end up making you choose maybe playing a game where you wouldn't necessarily want to. I know that's like for console players it's not as big of a deal, but for PC people it's a pretty big deal between like. And to be fair, there's a big difference between playing on PC and console.
It's actually a big deal for console players because, like, I really hate the PlayStation controller.
Yeah, I hear
Like,
that a lot.
not the new one because I haven't used it, but I don't like the PlayStation. I do not like my analog sticks way down there next to each other. I hate that so much. I had to deal with that playing Destiny 2 on PlayStation because everyone else wanted to play it on PlayStation. I'm just like, fuck. Now I have to sit here and play on PlayStation. Even though we all had Xboxes, I had to go out and buy a PlayStation because I wanted to play with them.
I have to ask this as well because sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but
No,
when it comes to the controller, because I tend to find a theme. Would you say you have larger hands?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's typically what I hear is that for people with larger hands, the offset sticks really work better for them, along with the fact that the Xbox controller is bulkier, so it spreads your hands out more.
Exactly.
I have tiny hands, so I like the DualShock, and I actually usually have problems with the Xbox controller.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess yeah, I guess that makes sense. But at the same time,
it's also a preference.
Why can't they just make controllers universal?
Yeah.
Let's just make it all cross-play.
Yeah. I wish. Well, this is going to sound really weird, so I guess I'll hit on this real quick because I think you'll find this funny because you're a big Switch guy. So they recently did the remapping, right, on the system, so you can just totally remap the button. And I was like, oh, finally, I can remap A and B. Jesus Christ, the bane of my existence. I fucking hate it. But I've grown so accustomed to Switch muscle memory that I can't do it. Like, I can't switch them to just be, like, B being the select button. Like, I just can't do it. I instinctively hit the opposite button because I'm just so used to playing Switch that way. Even though when I play Xbox or PlayStation, I don't really... Like, I don't have that problem other people tend to have where it's like, my brain is like constantly trying to figure out which one is which.
I use an Xbox controller on my PC. So I'm sitting here trying to play Persona 3 the other day, and I'm over here pressing B, thinking I'm pressing A. I'm like, why is it not selecting anything? I'm like, oh, I'm pressing B.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what you mean. I'm just like, and they're all Bluetooth controllers at this point. Like, we should use whatever controller you want on any console you want, period. Because then I wouldn't mind playing PlayStation because I'll just be using my Xbox controller.
I think they have. I think it's 8-bit, but I could. Who is IM-bit? I don't know. There's somebody that makes the Bluetooth dongle that is a receiver that lets you play with any controller. That thing's awesome.
You shouldn't need that though.
No,
because they're all Bluetooth controllers anyway. At the end of the day, they're all Bluetooth controllers.
Yeah,
like,
they really are. They all recognize the same thing, so you should just be able to use whatever. But they want you to use their controller because they want you to buy their stuff. So, and I kind of get that, but it's annoying. It definitely is annoying.
It is. It's first world problems for sure.
Yeah. Because at this point, like, your other option is like, all right, I guess I'll just buy 3 dongles to plug into my systems, and then I'll have to reconnect my controller every time.
Yep.
So, but yep, first world problems are kind of funny if I'm honest. So, like we're like, it's so annoying, but I'm so petty. Like it's just an inconvenience that I don't want to have.
Yep. And then other kids are like, I just want a console.
Right. They're like, I want to play games, and we're like, shut up! I can't even use the controller I want. So I guess we are sitting a little high on our ivory towers. So, well, we're on an hour and 4 minutes. I think that's pretty good. I guess I'll ask you one more time. Do you feel like there's anything you would like the audience to know that we did not discuss?
I mean, no. I mean, like, I'm huge into esports. Like, I'm an advocate for esports because I don't understand why people don't understand how that's a sport. Like, it makes no sense to me.
Because you're not beating the shit out of each other physically.
Chess is a sport that they have like tournaments for thousands of dollars, and it's a mental sport. Like, I really don't understand how people get so upset that there are teams and a league, you know, and they're in tournaments, but they're not considered sport players. I'm like, all right.
Americans, I think it's an American problem mostly. I'm sure it's a European problem as well, but we'd have to ask, you know, our UK colleagues. But with Americans, when they think sport, typically the first thing they associate that with is football. So this very, very like physically demanding game. And so they're just like, this is not a real sport.
I mean, like, if you think about it, it's physically demanding as well, because it's not like you can't just go and be like an esport pro playing 2 hours a day. No, these guys play like 10 plus hours a day, the same game,
over and
going
over
through scrimmages, having to work together with four more people, you know, like however many people is part of that team.
Right.
So, you know, you gotta be a team player, you gotta be understanding that, you know, to critiquing and all that other stuff. And like, you gotta sit there and play over 10 hours a day for how many days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love video games. I don't think I can do that. I don't think I have the stamina for that. To play like
I don't
one
have
game
the
over and over
tenacity
again
to do that anymore. Maybe when I was a teenager, because like we would play COD a lot, but like even then we'd play like 4 or 5 hours of COD and we were like, yeah, we're good.
And then not only that, it's not even just that. They're watching other, you know, like if they're going to be playing against, you know, like this team, you know, next week, like they're watching how they play and studying their movements, just like you do in any sport.
Yep.
You know, they get paid salaries. If not, they get, you know, prize money, just like poker, like professional poker players. Like I don't understand how people are so
very
like,
limited
shocked.
scope of understanding and being open to new ideas. I think specifically in America, we're very much like, this is the way things have always been, so they shall always be this way. And I don't want to get too political, but I think that really is the mindset here.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm an advocate for esports. I believe gaming, you know, is amazing in any form that it takes.
Yeah,
you know, just no need. I used to be a fan. I used to be an Xbox fanboy.
I mean, most of my friends were, yeah.
But at the end of the day, you know, just like, I'm happy that anyone's playing any game. Like, games are great for your mind, and, you know, just enjoying, you know.
Yeah, it's a stress reliever, or just as a form of entertainment. Yeah,
definitely.
I totally agree, and I think that's a great way to kind of put a cap on it. So we'll get out of here. We'll let you go. Get everybody back to their weekend, and thank you for joining us. We're gonna do these more, obviously, with everybody else. I appreciate you taking part in it first, Jason. Kind of doing the test pilot of it. I think it's gone really good. So. All right, well, then goodbye, everybody. I'm terrible at outros, and everybody always tells me that. So that's how I end it.
That's it.